Hey everyone, and welcome to a fresh Monday morning. Mike Mili here, along with my incredible partners, Rich Cotieri and Scott Graham. We're the team behind Words to Film By, the book, the .com, and the whole screenwriting and storytelling system. And here we are, Monday, May 12th, 2025, the mother of all Mondays. For many of us, this Monday lands a little differently. You know, it's a day after Mother's Day, and just like most compelling stories, yesterday might have been a real mix of emotions. For some, pure joy, uh, celebration, and and connection. But for others, perhaps maybe a little bit of sadness, a longing, or a quiet reflection. Maybe it was a day of cherished memories, or maybe it's even you know highlighted by absences of the ones we love, our mother figures, our moms. The that maternal figure that guided us through life. Whatever your experience is, those feelings, the happy, the sad, the joyous, the complicated, those are the raw materials of any powerful storytelling. They're the heartbeat, of the characters we create and the world that we build. I've said this before and it sounds repetitious, but every Monday is a chance to hit that big reset button, to look at our creative goals with fresh eyes and a renewed sense of purpose. But this Monday, after a weekend that often brings families and foundational relationships, into sharp focus, it feels even more potent. It's a reminder that at the core of every great film and every engaging piece of content that you write or film, every compelling marketing campaign is a human story, a relatable emotion. Words to Film By, that's what we're all about. We're here for the screenwriters that meticulously are crafting their next three acts, for filmmakers visualizing their shots, and for storytellers weaving narratives, drawing them, creating them, whether it's a graphic novel or a written novel, whatever it is, for that content creator brainstorming their next viral video, engaging post, and even for marketers looking to connect with their audiences on a deeper level. We're for everyone who has that itch, that burning need, to get their story out of their heart and out of their head and into the world digitally on a piece of paper, wherever they want to get that story out. Speaking of the world of content, it never stops evolving, does it? Just look at the news. We're constantly seeing, how new platforms like AI tools are changing the landscape for creators. There's a lot of buzz, and for instance, new tools and platforms emerging, almost daily. Scott made a comment that a year in AI is 1 week. So things are changing very fast. They're very incredible opportunities to reach new audiences, to experiment with new medium, to tell the stories in ways we haven't imagined yet. So that's there's fear, but there's a lot of exciting opportunities that are there. So um, you know it always comes back to your story. So whether you're using an AI tool or you're still using a piece of paper and then entering it into your software program to create your screenplay or your story or your book, I still draw by hand as well too. So with my tassel cartoon and storyboarding, but it's all about speed, accuracy, and consistency. So there's a lot of new tools here. So the bottom line is you will not lose your unique voice, or your perspective. You don't give it all over to it. You use it as a tool. That's the irreplaceable element in your creations. We often talk about how much life how life and you know that we put into our screenplays, you know, and how do you do it, and how do you keep everything intact? Well, it's with the three act structure. Everything is a three act structure, and if that's the case, then Monday morning, I said, not to sound repetition, but Monday morning, that's your act one for the week. This is where you introduce your protagonist. That's you. You've been cast as your protagonist in your own story. So, you know, congratulations, you got a part, and so it's up to you to establish yourself in this world that you're creating for the week. What's your inciting incident, for the week? What's the goal that you're setting? What's the challenge that you're ready to meet? Think about it. Act one is a setup. This is today. This is your Monday. You're laying out the foundations of your story, for the week. What do you want to achieve this week? Is it to finally outline that difficult scene, to write those 5 first pages? Rich teaches about how those 5 first pages, how important they are. Have you been putting them off? Why don't you try to put them to a storyboard, that opening sequence? Map out your content calendar. Map out what you're going to do for this week, but map out your content calendar for your project. You know, Pitch that idea you've been polishing. This is that moment to define that goal, to feel that spark of intention. You know, once you get those words out of your mouth, once you get those words on a piece of paper, then you'll feel it. Act two, the confrontation. That'll be your midweek. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is where the work all happen. Where obstacles will arise. Maybe it's a plot hole. Maybe you can't solve it. A difficult client, a creative block, or just like general chaos of life. This is where your protagonist, you grapple with conflicts, what you need to learn, what you need to adapt, what you need to push forward. It's where the bulk of the story unfolds, where the tension builds. That's what that's all about. So then we move on to Act Three, which is the resolution. And then comes Friday, leading to the weekend. This is where you see the culmination of your efforts, and hopefully it's a triumphant resolution to the goals you set on Monday. Maybe it's a breakthrough. Maybe it's a finished draft. It's not a final draft, but it's a finished draft. A successful pitch, a piece of content launched, and even if it's not perfect, uh, you know, and you're not doing your perfect Hollywood ending, it's a point of reflection, a chance to learn and prepare for the next 3 act week. So it's exciting. I love Mondays. I get up early. I move early. I do a lot of stuff, and I love getting my days started early. Others, like they like to write in the middle of the night. I like to write, get started real first in the morning. I do my workout, I do my health, and then I get right into my stories. So depending if I'm on set or working on set, then it's a total different regimen. It's getting those 28 days of filming done. But it all starts here. Act one, Monday morning, with that fresh page feeling, that blank sheet of paper that you populate with your words to film by, your words to create by. So let those words out of your head, let them get onto the piece of paper. So again, what is your inciting incident? What's your week's narrative? Don't let that page stay blank, or 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 having it hang over your head. Don't do that. Create a task list. Let it intimidate you. That'll be your push. Every great story that was ever told started with a single word, a single idea, a single moment of a decision to put your pen to paper, your key to the key, your finger to the keyboard. Power you have as a storyteller is incredible. in whatever form that takes, whatever your medium is, it's powerful. It's immense. Your shape, your perception, you evoke emotions. You can even inspire action, all through words. Whether you're crafting a blockbuster, trying to craft a blockbuster screenplay, or take a even if you're trying to write a 30-second TikTok video, you are connecting with other human beings on a fundamental level of storytelling. And in a world that often feels fragmented, broken apart, cracked up, like everything's falling apart, that connection is more visible than ever. You're vying for those few seconds of somebody's attention to get your message across. So Monday, embrace the potential it holds. Maybe maybe yesterday was amazing for you. Maybe it was tough. Either way, channel that energy. Let it inform your characters. You take yourself and put them in your characters. I mean, you don't have to copy everything, but you let your emotions and those feelings into your characters, deepening your themes. It'll fuel your passion. Everything I've ever written has a little bit of me in it. Everything. You could find me. I could map my life out and look at the different things I wrote, and that little piece is me. That little piece is me. That little piece was me, and it turned into this, and it opened another door for that character to tell that story. Let it fuel your passion. Your story matters. That's what makes you human. At Words to Film by Rich, Scott, and I, we're on this journey with you. We believe in the power of the story, and we believe in the power of your story. That's what this whole thing is about. No matter, we can look at all the tools, everything from AI to your keyboard. That's why we created the system, the book, the workshops, to give you the tools, the structure, and the support to bring your stories to life. So as you step into this week, as you embark on Act 1, I want to leave you with a little writing challenge. If you guys are up for it. I know days are busy. You all got other jobs. Doesn't matter what time you do it, when you do it, whenever you can get to it. A way to perhaps process some of those reflections from the weekend, or simply kickstart your creative engine with this little thing Monday. This week's writing challenge. Think about this. Yesterday's Mother's Day, or if that doesn't resonate with you, think about a significant maternal figure or a defining moment of care or nurturing that took place in your life. Whether it was given by you or received. Okay? I want you to write a single powerful scene, not a whole story, just one scene. So here's option 1. The unspoken. Write a scene where you want your characters to say something significant to a mother figure or a person you choose, but doesn't or can't do it. Focus on the subtext part of it, the internal conflict, the visual storytelling that conveys what's unsaid. What are they doing? Where are they? What's the unspoken emotion that hangs in the air over them? Okay, just remember that. Where are they? What's the unspoken emotion, that hangs in the air over them, and what they're trying to do. Okay. All right. So option 2, excuse me. Option 2, the unexpected gift. Write a scene about a small unexpected gift or a gesture. Not necessarily anything like a physical present or anything, but something that reveals a deep truth about a mother-child relationship or a relationship with a nurturing figure. It could be a memory that's shared, a moment of understanding, or a surprising act of kindness, something like that, focus on the emotional impact of this gift. No more than 2 pages. The goal isn't to write a masterpiece in, one sitting, but to tap into the genuine emotion and the practice, and practice conveying, and with clarity and detail. Think about that single defining image or a line of dialogue that you can anchor your scene in. Share it with a trusted friend. You don't have to share it with us. If it's a specific great idea and you think you could use in a screenplay, don't post it out there for everybody. If you're not worried about it, post it up there. Let us know your outcome, at least, if you were successful with it. Put it in your journal or use it as a warm-up for your bigger projects. But I'd love to hear them if you want to share them with me. Everything stays here, and everybody's pretty much honest. Nobody's here to take anybody's ideas, but we're really here to see you succeed. The act of creation in itself is a victory every time you accomplish it. All right, everyone. That's about all the time I got today because I talked too much. Words to Film By. This was Words to Film By for Monday morning. Go out there and make this week an incredible story. Make incredible stories come out of your week. Define your act one. Embrace your journey. We're cheering you on over here. Until next week, on Monday, keep writing, keep creating, keep telling those stories. And if you'd like, join us on Tuesday. We'll have a screenwriting lesson at 12 o'clock every week on Tuesday. And then we talk a little bit about the business, about what's new in AI, what's new in screenwriting, what's new in storytelling and marketing. We do that every Thursday. And then we offer classes and workshops, and we're going to be having an 8-week course coming up that we'd like to get a lot of people involved with. That'll be great. Like I said, if you're new to us, join our community at www.wordstofilmby.com, where all the links to our groups are at school, SKOOL. We're located there. But come to us at Words to Film By, and all our links are right there. So until next week, keep writing, keep telling those stories. This is Mike Mili for Rich Goteri and Scott Graham, reminding you that your words have the power to become a film, become a connection, become a legacy